Three-act structure. One of the easiest ways of screenwriting is to break your story into 3 acts. A widely accepted and popular method, it can be found in all forms of fiction writing. Evolved from the days of Greek dramaturgy, it is said to be an irrefutable piece of dramatic writing, though many other less popular styles also exist. In a 120-page script in 3-act formula, the first act would take up 1/4, 30 pages of the script. Act 2 takes up around half, 60 pages of the script, while Act 3 takes the final quarter, that is almost 30 pages of the script. In a 3-act structure, Act 1, known as setup, will introduce the story, establish the locale, tells about the main characters, about their goals, and bring in the main conflict that becomes their obstacle. It also sets the tone and style of the movie. At the end of the Act 1 appears the turning point or story point 1. It is an action or event that turns the narrative drive of the story into a new direction, taking it out of the setup of Act 1 into the confrontation of the Act 2. Either the protagonist's main goals are defined or the means to achieve the goal becomes clear here as they start on the path toward achieving it. The Act 2 is known as confrontation. Here the main characters begin confronting the series of obstacles that stand in their way. They also reveal more backstory or secrets about themselves. They suffer setbacks that test their desire for achieving the goal. The midpoint is the scene or event halfway through the second act with a definite change in direction to the story taking place. The midpoint can either function as a setback, reversal, or turning point which changes the direction of the central characters, pushes the plot into a higher gear, or raises the character's commitment to another level. It can also be a linchpin that connects turning point 1 to turning point 2. Turning point or story point 2. Turning point or story point 2 is an action or event that comes near the end of Act 2. It turns the narrative drive of the story into a new direction, kicking it out of the confrontation of the Act 2 closer towards the resolution. Sometimes it can offer a positive light at the end of the tunnel of conflicts. Sometimes it gives new information or inspiration to the protagonists to move beyond the darkest hour and push harder towards the goals. In Act 3, things pick up speed. Here, the protagonist moves faster and appears closer to the achievement of the goals. The act puts the final pieces of the plot's puzzle together, racing towards a climax. The biggest obstacle of all will be in a climactic showdown where the protagonist finally gets the opportunity to realize the goal. In the 3-act structure, denouement is the wrap-up after the climax. This can function as a point to tie up the script's loose ends. The 3-act structure is critical to dramatic writing, and each act has specific story movement, and one can find solid 3-act structure working fine in almost every great movie that has stood the test of time. Shooting script. Once you have completed your rewriting and is into a final draft, it is time for its transformation into a shooting script. The shooting script is the version of the screenplay you take to production stage. It includes detailed descriptions of shot sizes, camera angles, transitions, visual content, and sound elements. Both shooting script and storyboard use abbreviated directorial terms to specify camera placement and movement. A shooting script communicates in specific terms and the movie director's visual approach to the film. All the scenes are numbered on a shooting script to facilitate the breaking down of the script and organizing the shooting of the film. Storyboards. A storyboard is a graphic representation of the shot. It may be a drawing or any kind of visual representation of events. The storyboard, usually made by dedicated storyboard artists, is derived from the script and uses rough drawings in order to help plan shots. Storyboarding key scenes that may require a higher degree of planning or those that feature complex visual production techniques will help ensure their successful execution. Storyboards can be used for both animation and live action productions. It is made up of a number of rectangles with illustrations or pictures representing each shot. It contains notes on what is going on in the scene and what is being said in the shot of a script. Drawings can be simple, but each sketch should fill the frame in exactly the same way the shot will fill the screen in the finished film. When you storyboard a program, you are setting up a plan for production, including all the shots you will need, the order in which they will be laid out, and how the visuals will interact within the script. From the discussions above, you would have understood that it is impossible to envision a film without a script, as the script is the base for what appears on screen. It contains what is seen and heard. This includes a film's structure, its dialogue, and perhaps most importantly, the description of the most significant action in a scene. Moreover, it is almost impossible to envision a good film with a bad screenplay. Sid Field, the father of structure and author of Screenplay, a book called as The Bible of the Film Industry, has spoken at length on this issue. Sid observes that you can never make a good movie out of a bad screenplay. Indeed, it is possible to make a bad film out of a good script. A screenplay is the foundation of a movie. If it is not there, like in any building, it is going to weaken and crumble. And so, in a narrative film, it is essential to start with a strong script. And so, filmmaking needs an assemblage of people, editors, directors, actors, designers, etc., dedicated to illuminating the story. It is a craft which combines the talents of hundreds of craftsmen. These craftsmen are united in the common goal of telling a story to the best of their ability. And because the story begins with a screenplay, even the director, who is the captain of the crew, would not have a vision if he didn't have a proper script. The screenplay thus remains the most significant aspect of filmmaking, but perhaps less appreciated.